July 22nd, 2019, Planned Parenthood told you to tell your partner. Why did you not follow the doctor's recommendation when it came to an STD?
All right, we will do it. We will do it.
I just told you.
You told me an assumption. I want to know why you did not tell him that you had. And the doctor told you to do that.
So when we enter into divorce and custody and we have to do something like depositions, we have to go under oath and testify. First and foremost, what we need to understand is we cannot lie. If we lie, we can ruin our credibility as a witness. All of our testimony goes out the window.
I want you to repeat the answer because the doctor told you to do it. Did the doctor not tell you to notify us on July 22nd, 2019?
They didn't say specific.
Did they tell you to notify a partner?
Yeah.
And why did you not do that? Is this because of an award?
No, because I didn't want to bring it up.
We're covering something which is very common for people to experience, and that is the passing of STDs while infidelity is happening.
Did you hand him a prescription in a bottle or did you hand him pills?
I handed him the pills.
Why did you not give him a prescription in the bottle?
Because I would have to tell him.
First thing I asked you when we started this deposition, if you're an honest person. I think you're sitting here telling me that you're not. Is what you did honest? Was what you did honest? Or was it deceptive?
It depends on your definition.
That's concerning because do you not know what honesty and dishonesty is?
I do.
Do I need to get a Webster's dictionary? Or do you want to take a stab at it?
Oh, are you asking me? No.
I'm not asking her.
Oh, I didn't know if you were just asking a rhetorical question.
Do you? No, I'm really asking you that question
Oh.
because you don't know what dishonesty is. I want you to tell me whether you think that was dishonest.
Yeah, I could be dishonest.
It could be.
Yeah.
Why is it not explicitly dishonest?
Because I didn't tell a lie. I just didn't tell the truth.
Now, this is interesting because this deposition is taking place in a custody battle. And so this actually has nothing to do with custody. And I want you to understand that as best as you can, because when it comes to divorce and custody, there's so much which makes us angry. It makes us pissed off. The judge may throw stuff out. The courts don't recognize it. But what I want to share with you guys so much is if you understand the law, if you understand all of this, you can empower yourself, you can do well, and you can structure a case that works. And this goes for both men and women. Using this as an educational piece, I went through it with my attorney, the attorney that you see here. We went through this whole deposition and broke down notes of how to really instruct what's going on, and there's really so much value in it. So what happens when you lie? What happens when you lie under oath? What happens when you lie to your attorney? And the thing is this could just be terrible. It could go in every way you can imagine wrong. In fact, in this situation right here, it could have cost this woman a lot. Her freedom, her kids, her relationship with her kids, her ability to be a mother. It could have put a protective order on her just because she decided to lie. Lie under oath, lie to her attorney, and completely discredit herself as a witness. Now, this case I know very well because this is actually my case. This is my ex who was on the stand, and when we broke up, she tried to do some crazy stuff, and this deposition is a 3-hour-long deposition. There's all sorts of little things in it, but what's interesting about this is everything that structured what made us win in this deposition, or actually just end the case right there in this deposition, has to do with what I show you guys on these videos. This was in October 2019, but by the end of this deposition, this 3-hour deposition, we could have put a protective order on her. I could have had full custody of the kids. I could have had the kids forcibly removed from her and put in my possession. I could have pressed separate criminal charges on her. Some of them have to do exactly what goes on in this video. And I actually didn't do any of that. And part of the reason why I didn't do any of that was because that was done to me in 2012. It was horrible. I got a protective order put on me. I had false accusations put on me. I didn't get to see my kids for 5 years. That ended up getting reversed because of this case. But needless to say, there's a structure of how you need to organize things in court. When we look at the female side of things, giving advice to women, it says that we need to heal, we need to feel. They talk trash on men, they get angry, they get pissed off, but nobody's actually talking about how you actually win, why you lost, how to correct those things, how to be a good mother from all of this pain and chaos and sorting out. When we get to the man side of things, it's even worse because we have a huge population of men who have been screwed over by the courts. They don't get to see their kids. There's so much pain behind it, but there's nobody in that entire group selling a solution. There's nobody there telling them how to win in court, how to look at these things, how to get yourself smarter, how to get yourself better, and how to come to a case like mine, which is one that I had to fight because in 2019, my ex, this woman here, wanted to use the charges put against me in 2012, the case that she saw me go through, the case that she saw have my kids removed and saw how bad that hurt my kids. Well, she wanted to do that to our kids, say that I was abusing our kids or her or whatever it was, and somehow I was dangerous, and I had to defend myself. In this situation, I defended myself. I nailed it. We walked out of here with really all the power that we needed for divorce and custody and to shut things down. And man, it's one of the better victories of my life because it allowed for both of us to be parents. So let's get to what this video is actually about. This video is about an STD. Now, an STD that is passed has actually nothing to do with custody. And one of the big problems here was that my ex decided to hire a lawyer that was not a family law attorney. In fact, my attorney did a psychological profile on her by looking at her social media, going over our text messages and going over all the evidence that I had for her. And he was like, hey man, she is going to hire a male attorney. She's going to hire a Hispanic attorney, and that attorney has to speak Spanish, and more than likely, she's not going to find a good one because right now in Travis County, at the time that this happened, there's no Spanish-speaking male attorneys that are good family law attorneys. And she's going to pick an attorney, and it's going to screw everything up. And he actually said it's going to screw everything up, and it's going to cost you more money because that guy's going to make mistakes and blah, 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 blah. And she's going to make mistakes. And man, he's like, I already know how she's going to lie. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, look, let me tell you, my attorney, amazing guy. I mean, this guy was able to predict so many things right about this entire case. And so it's interesting because when I first talked to him and I said what had happened, I was all emotionally riled up. I was all screwed up about it. And I said, man, you know, this and that is happening, blah, 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 blah. And he said, Steve, just shut up. This is a custody case. We need to narrow it down to custody. It doesn't matter if she had affairs. It doesn't matter even if she was a prostitute. It doesn't matter if she killed somebody in that. Did it affect her ability to be a parent? That's all we're looking at. And we need to look at things which are obvious in that. We need to look at things which it makes her either be a bad parent or not. Now, let's actually backtrack a little bit because when I first hired him, I basically had 3 goals and they're really simple and we accomplished them all in this deposition. So goal number 1 was actually that I wanted all charges, all abuse claims, all those things to never happen, to be stopped with the most amount of evidence possible. That was huge. Now, the reason why I wanted that was because for months, from May 2019 all the way till August 2019, and then started implementing it from August to October, she was saying that she would use my old child abuse charges against me if I ever attacked her or confronted her in any way. Once I was adverse with her and trying to actually see my kids and I wasn't able to, that's what she did. She told friends, family, it's in writing, Steve is dangerous, I'm afraid for my life, what he did with his kids before, I believe he actually abused them, all this sort of stuff. So super, super important for me. That was my first goal. I had to stop that. Now, goal number 2 was I wanted fair custody, fair child support set. From the beginning of this, I wanted to have what's called expanded standard in Texas and allow her to be the primary. And the reason for that was I loved being a father. I was around my kids every single day. When we actually divided up the parental roles and what we did, we were pretty much equal. In fact, in terms of school, I was more interactive than her, meaning that I picked them up and took them to school on paper, documented more than her. Now, at the same time, she did plenty and, she did a lot that was good. And, she cooked for them more and all these different things, but we did equal. I spent huge amounts of time with them every day. I mean, a lot of it is on video. A lot of it's through pictures on the phone. You can run a timeline really easy of how much time I spent with them. Doctor's visits, clothes, all these types of things. It was very well documented, which you have to do because actually in this deposition, she said that didn't happen and I somehow neglected them and just disappeared somewhere. No. It's absolutely 100% true. And because it's 100% true and we have proof with timelines, with photographs, not just witnesses, I was with them for X amount of hours. It would be impossible for me not to. That would then make her a liar if she said that, which she did end up saying that.
Do you allege that Steve has ever committed child abuse with y'all's children?
With our children, is neglect a form of child abuse?
Tell me about neglect.
Well, he played no role in their life, in their well-being. That's neglect.
Do you think it's child neglect, according to CPS, to smoke marijuana and use illegal drugs while you're pregnant?
Smoke marijuana
Yeah.
while I'm pregnant? Maybe, yeah.
Do you think they would categorize that as physical abuse or child neglect?
I'm not sure.
Could be physical, couldn't it?
I don't know.
The third thing that I wanted to happen was I wanted to calm her down and calm her down for her own good. When women get divorced and they do this thing where they rebel or they sabotage a relationship, which is what my ex did, I really fought for this thing to stay. I thought it was best for the kids. And man, as you may find out in this deposition footage and so on, that it was really, really sabotaged. She wrecked it. When people do that, they usually flip and move to empowerment and say that they're doing something in the name of something, that somehow they could have done an erratic action of taking kids, leaving the home, kicking the dad out and being afraid of him and basically not letting the father see the kids. When that happens, they usually do it in the name of some sort of cause, which is I'm afraid for my life, which could be a natural feeling that comes with that delusional rebellion, but it's not the truth, it's not reality, and it's not fair. If she were to continue on that path of this is women's empowerment, I'm going to post on Facebook about what a badass I am because I'm finally leaving somebody dangerous who wasn't really dangerous, that's going to get her into trouble. So I wanted her humbled in this. I wanted her to get reality. By the end of this deposition, those three things were there. There's one thing that I wish I would have done more, which came at the recommendation of my lawyer and some other different attorneys, but we'll get to that later in this series of videos. So back to this, what were the facts? So how this all started in our problems in a relationship were because an STD was passed. Now, it's one thing in our agreement, which came out in the deposition, is that we could have had other partners. That wasn't the big thing. But the problem is that we couldn't get pregnant. We couldn't pass on STDs. We couldn't fall in love. We couldn't have side relationships. We couldn't be deceptive about it. Now in this was really interesting because one of the first things my attorney said to me when I told them about this STD thing was he said, man, that's assault. So she knew she had an STD. She lied to you about it. Tell me the proof. And then she gave you medication and that STD got worse, meaning it must have been the wrong medication. And then when you got treated for it, it was antibiotic resistant. And then you had to go on this crazy cycle of antibiotics to kill it off and yada, yada, yada. And she's still lying about it. She's still lying about it. And when my attorney talked to her attorney and all this sort of stuff, an interesting thing happened because she denied it all. And we tried to subpoena her medical records. She blocked it. She blocked it actually in the name of women's rights and feminism and saying that I was trying to stalk her. And so then we had to have a judge enforce it. So we got the subpoena. The actual records of her medical records didn't come through until the day of the deposition, which was amazing because on that day of the deposition, she had to tell her attorney why she had told him this was all a lie, that I was making up to try to get into her business. What's interesting here, what her attorney didn't know because she had lied to him, also her attorney was unprepared because he was not a family law attorney. He was a criminal defense attorney, I think, and so on. But he was totally caught off guard. What he didn't know, what she didn't know, but my attorney and I knew walking into this deposition, even from day one, 2 months prior to it, that this is sexual assault. When you pass on an STD, you know you have it, you block medical information, you continue to have sex with that person and give them that STD and lie to them about it, that's assault. But here's what's even more interesting in it. Because of the false medication, because of the blocking of the medication, because of the lying about medical records, it makes it a lot worse. Meaning it would make it a lot worse for a judge to see. Now, what's even worse about this is if we wanted to continue down this road, it actually breaches consent laws. Meaning I definitely would not have agreed to have had sex with her if I knew that I was getting an STD. If I knew that she had gotten an STD, that she broke an agreement that we had to be deceptive, to lie, and all this other sort of stuff. Her story was that she never had an STD. I was making it up. I got the STD from someone else. And that she had just had a bacterial infection that, was just gotten. In fact, she actually said she got it from a toilet seat because we have a bidet in our house. And she said that she got it from that. This lie went on for 2 months. Actually, because of this deposition footage, 4 months. My symptoms started immediately after having sex with her. She'd gone to the doctor, gotten treated, and it's all in the notes. So she knowingly had an STD. She had sex with me. She lied to me about it. She gave it to me, lied to me about giving it, and then gave me medication that made it worse. If you checklist all these things down, this goes beyond sexual assault. And this is where it could move into a breaching of consent, which would turn it into rape. A sexual assault, possibly a rape, that was done in the name where she could lie. She could lie under oath about it. She could lie to me about it. She could damage my health and other people's health, put our kids at risk in the name of women's rights. Feminism, I'm all for you. Why aren't you getting mad about this? These things are so terrible that women do in the name of real suffering. It's freaking terrible. It's evil.
So on July 22nd, 2019, Planned Parenthood told you to tell your partner that you had. Why did you not follow the doctor's recommendation when it came to an STD?
I just told you.
You told me an assumption. I want to know why you did not tell him that you had.
I don't know.
When the doctor told you to do that.
I just told you.
I want you to repeat the answer because the doctor told you to do it. Did the doctor not tell you to notify on July 22nd, 2019?
They didn't say specific.
Did they tell you to notify a partner?
Yeah.
And why did you not do that? Is this because of an award?
No, because I didn't want to bring the factor. I didn't want to bring up having sex with other people. I didn't want to bring it up. That's why.
Did you give a prescription?
No.
Did you hand him a prescription in a bottle or did you hand him pills?
I handed him the pills.
Why did you not give him a prescription in the bottle?
Because I would have to tell him.
First thing I asked you when we started this deposition, if you're an honest person. I think you're sitting here telling me that you're not. Is what you did honest? Was what you did honest? Or was it deceptive?
It depends on your definition.
That's concerning. Because do you not know what honesty and dishonesty is?
I do.
Do I need to get a Webster's dictionary? Or do you want to take a stab at it?
Oh, are you asking me? No.
I'm not asking her.
Oh, I didn't know if you were just asking a rhetorical question.
Do you? No, I'm really asking you that question because you don't know what dishonesty is. I want you to tell me whether you think that was dishonest.
Yeah, I could be dishonest.
It could be.
Yeah.
Why is it not explicitly dishonest?
Because I didn't tell a lie. I just didn't tell the truth.
All right, so really quick here, what Ryan is actually doing in this whole time is he is setting up an elaborate trap, but this is a small trap in the elaborate trap. So in the elaborate trap, it's a whole bunch of stuff, which would make it really impossible for us to go to a hearing or a trial or any of these things without just completely damaging a lot about her life. So all that matters here, all that matters is that she should be telling the truth. Straight up. If you're in this situation, you should be telling the truth. This does not affect custody. And why lie about it? Now, because he knew or he predicted that she would lie about this, all that matters here is that why did you not follow the doctor's orders? Why did you lie? Why did you lie to Steve? You did lie to Steve. That's all that matters. Once she admits that, that puts things in a totally different category. Now, when she says that, and then we have a paper trail record showing that there were these checks, that she got and she was clean. And then there was this when she was dirty. And there were these affairs that happened in these timelines that she admitted to, or there's different things that we knew we could subpoena or text messages and so on. That puts the timeline that she absolutely knew. She knew that she had gotten that from somebody else. And if we can establish that, we can establish that she lied about that, knowing that, then we can get into the medication part. Now, what's interesting here is, let's say none of this was used. I didn't pursue a charge on this. I didn't pursue suing her in any way on this. But it also completely discredits her as a witness. There's no reason for her to lie here, and yet she does. And it's pretty diabolical. It shows calculation. It shows thinking things through. It shows that not only did she lie to me and was willing to lie to me and construct a lie around it, but she's willing to construct a lie around the courts. And that's big. The thing which is supposed to hold and define our morality in our culture, to keep us good. She is willing to disrespect and disgrace just so that she can look good in this situation. And once again, has nothing to do with child custody. So let's go over some things that could have been done better on her part in this, in case you're in this situation. So first off, don't lie to your attorney. Do not lie to your attorney. Do not let them be blindsided in court or whatever. If you want this attorney to work for you and be motivated to work for you, give them all the information that they need. The other thing is what my attorney told me is he just said, do not lie, do not disrespect the court. It could wreck everything. If there's a good attorney countering you, they can turn it into tons and tons of stuff like he did here. The judge who is ruling something is going to not be happy with you. So do not lie to your attorney. Do not lie under oath. Now, there's a myth that says lying under oath is a federal offense, but in family court, it is not. It's a misdemeanor. However, in this, what happened is she started answering questions that were not relevant to child custody. Now, when it comes to alimony, when it comes to property and all these different things in the state of Texas, this might be relevant. It might be relevant to bring it up in family court normally, but her attorney didn't realize that this was just about custody. It doesn't matter. You could have whatever affairs you want. It does not matter. It is what is in the best interest of the kids, who is the safest parent to be with, and who can we give the custody to be the primary, and so on. Her attorney should have objected to this and stopped it. Her attorney should have pulled her out of this when he realized, which he didn't realize, but if he would have realized, that she incriminated herself in something which is a massive crime. Sexual assault is no joke. And one thing actually that my attorney had told me was, due to the nature of the STD that she passed on, a court would not entertain it. But because of what was covered in the deposition, a court would. Meaning, if you pass on HIV or something like that, then a court will allow you to sue somebody for that. But a lower level STD, something that's more curable, usually it doesn't cause as much damage. But because of this, and there was so much deception, there was long-term lying, a judge could very easily say, man, How could you disrespect the court so bad with this? Either way, black and white, it's sexual assault by definition in the state of Texas. Whenever I bring this up to women, they laugh at me or something like that, which is kind of crazy because I have a history of addiction. I've been clean for a long time. At the time of this, I was 11 years clean. I was working in recovery, like helping out with addiction, doing all this sort of stuff. But I have been sexually assaulted in violent, horrible ways. But I think it's so interesting that when I bring this up and I say that there was sexual assault, I almost always get like laughed at or told that women have it so much worse. If this was on the flip side, where I had done this to her, had given her an STD intentionally, gone to a doctor, gotten treated for it, blocked her from that information, blocked her from the proper medication, gave her medication that made her more sick, think about that. And so socially, that's problematic. Now, I don't want to make this about men and women and us against them. And that's something that I hate about the war of the sexes. Look, I want us to know more about the laws of divorce and custody so we stop doing stupid stuff like false claims or throwing our exes under the bus. We got to learn how to parent. We got to learn how to parent good. It's really, really important. And that's one of the reasons why in this that I allowed her to still remain the primary parent, even around all this contention. From the start, day one. In fact, I remember being outside of the attorney's office after this and my attorney saying, I could get you full custody right now. Let's go to the courthouse. This is going to be amazing. I said, no, man, that wasn't the plan. There were those three things, those three goals. And I held by those from day one. Very, very important. Also, one of the huge mistakes was what happened in this deposition. You want to answer yes or no questions, but when somebody says, well, explain to me what it means to be a good parent or something like that, you want to understand the language of the courts, the language of the law, and speak to that. Not your opinions from what your uncle or aunt or whoever said, but you want to be able to speak the language of the courts, the language of the law, meaning, what makes a good parent means that you're responsible for your kids, you get them to bed on time, you take them to school, you feed them, you take them to the doctor, clothes, these types of things. Those are super, super important for you to be able to establish in a courtroom setting. So when you're doing depositions or you're under oath in front of a judge or in front of a jury, you have to learn how to communicate. You can't wind on and on like her. This just makes her look bad. It makes her look like she's insulting to the courts. And man, look, this is somebody who has a lot of their life together. And because of lying, because of ego, and because of misinformation, she made herself out to be a sex offender in this. So this is a huge thing. There's a wealth of information on this and a huge amount. If you want to gain more access to the tutorials that we have off of my deposition or other people's stories that happen within our groups, this happens within our communities. And so we have communities for men, we have communities for women. If you are in a situation where you're going through a divorce and custody battle at any level, you just started, there's a separation, you don't know what's happening, or you're in a situation where you're halfway through it and you're screwed and you don't know why there's a protective order against you. I cannot tell you how much my group will help you. It will help guide you through it. I will be on calls with you. I will understand your case. I will tell you how to organize things for your attorney. I will show you what you need to know and ask. And if you're in a situation like this, we'll role play it with you and you will not be in this situation. Look at the links down below. Check out my courses. It will save you thousands upon thousands of dollars. This whole case here, it cost me probably at this point about $11,000 to $12,000, but it ended up being more because as the story goes, she pushed it to a hearing. She got fired by her attorney. We went to a hearing. We showed up. We did all this prep work for it, $7,000 worth of prep work, and then she just gave up and caved. So whatever, but it will save you tons of money. This could have been $50,000 in. This could have been $70,000 in easily had we not done something right, had we not gotten the evidence organized, and I want you to do the same. So the links are in description. Thanks for watching. If you like this, leave comments and all that sort of stuff. And man, look, if you're going through this, man or woman, you're about to live your best life. Literally, not some BS fantasy, something really good, something you can really be proud of. And this is what I do. I show you how to get there. All right.